Back in the day, the hardest decision you had to make in a video game was whether to use a chainsaw to kill the hell demons or something much less awesome. And yet, in today's sophisticated, choice-offering games, some of the meaningful-looking decisions turn out to be no more consequential than Commander Shepard's haircut. Just recall these tough video game decisions that in the end made no actual difference. Enjoy, but beware of spoilers ahead for the following games.
Riff will lead the garrison.
The seven hells he will.
Lads, do make this visit worthwhile.
Please, Sir Royland, don't.
In episode 1 of Telltale's Game of Thrones, you come up against turbo bastard Ramsay Bolton, who, in classic Ramsay Bolton style, turns up at your family home with a bunch of men with swords and starts cutting about the place threatening children.
Look at this, little Forester. You're not frightened, are you?
You're given several options for how to act towards Ramsay, sadly none of which involve nuking him from orbit. You can offer him bread and salt, because that always ensures no one gets killed, right phrase. You can choose to bend the knee or not, and when he starts threatening your sister Talia, you can choose to protect her, or let Ramsay continue saying sinister things about hunting.
Do you like hunting?
Let her go.
She's quite pretty, your sister. We'd get along well.
Tricky, right? On the one hand, you want to protect your sister, but on the other, Ramsay is a cruel psychopath with a violent temper who is holding all the cards. Standing up to him could make things worse.
Aren't you the brave lord?
Ah, see? It would have been wiser to have bided your time and waited so as not to anger Ramsay and send him over the edge.
Aren't you the wise lord?
Ah, well, I mean, one word changed, so still a meaningful choice.
I don't want the wise lord.
2 words. It's a totally different scene.
Far too much trouble.
Still, I don't know what we were expecting. Jamming a knife into someone's neck is just how you end a conversation in Westeros.
Lovely meeting all of you. We'll have to do it again sometime.
In previous Pokemon games, choosing your starter Pokemon was probably the most important and momentous decision of your young life. Do you go for the Fire-type starter, like Charmander, with badass fire attacks and dragon stylings? Or the Water-type starter, like Squirtle, with its powerful water jets and cool evolutions? Or the Grass-type starter, like Bulbasaur, because you like losing Pokemon battles? It really was a hard choice, and one you had to live with for the rest of the game, because outside of that opening sequence, you weren't going to encounter the starters you didn't pick out in the wild. The only way to get them was by trading, which involved cables and talking to people, and the whole thing was much more trouble than it was worth, so that initial decision really mattered. Not so in Pokemon Go. Picking your starter Pokemon from the choice of Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur and Pikachu doesn't matter, because before long you'll be running into Raichus at Rite Aid and Blastoises on the bus. Here, there are 2 Charmanders in my nearby list because they are literally falling over themselves to join my admittedly rad Poké Squad and be given stupid names. What?
Jesus Christ.
Now, we don't mean to pick on Telltale here, but honestly, sometimes they're asking for it. Episode 2 of Season 1 of The Walking Dead sets its stall out early, when the very first thing you do is decide whether to hack off the leg of a man stuck in a bear trap or leave him to be devoured by a bunch of hangry zombies.
No, no, no! Try the trap again! Anything, please!
Choose the former, and you actually have to go through the process of chopping off the leg for a start. And it turns out Lee is worse at axing things than whoever let 2.5 Men run for 12 seasons.
Lee, it has to be now! Damn it, Lee, just cut off his fucking leg! We don't have time for that. I'm sorry, but we have to go, now!
Also complicating things is the fact that if you save David, one of his young companions, Travis ends up as Zombie Chow. On the other hand, if you leave David, then Travis, well, he gets accidentally shot, but not fatally. That's what passes for a good outcome in The Walking Dead. The point, though, is depending on which option you choose, you end up taking either a gravely wounded Travis or David back to join your post-apocalyptic family, along with new character Ben. No doubt this will really shake things up back at the motel as the other survivors, already low on food, clash over how to take care of these new strangers, who'll... Oh damn! David turned into a zombie! I guess that was the wrong choice. I should have left David in the trap so that Travis could survive, and... Oh damn! So, no matter what you decide, all that happens is you bring a future zombie back to the motel. That's even more QTEs for poor Lee.
Why'd you bring him here in the first place, asshole?
Oh, we could have used you earlier, Larry.
Bird.
Or the cage.
Or perhaps the bird.
Nothing beats the cage.
He's still again. How do... Never mind.
Soon after you rescue Elizabeth from her Monument Tower prison, Bioshock Infinite gives the two of you a nice day out at the beach, there to enjoy dancing, calisthenics, and beach racism.
An Oriental stopped me on the street and asked me for the time. Just like that. There should be a law. I think there is.
Alright, it's just as bad as the rest of Colombia, except for the Lutesses on the boardwalk offering people free brooches.
Look at these, they're amazing. Which one do you like more, this one or this?
There are two brooches on offer, one depicting a bird, the other a cage, and Elizabeth asks you to choose for her. That has got to be a significant decision, right? Both images are highly symbolic. With Elizabeth having been imprisoned for most of her life, the cage would seem to have negative associations. But while the bird could represent freedom, let's not forget that her prison guard is an actual giant bird, so that too could be a bad choice. Man, this is a tough one. Okay, bird. I hope this doesn't come back to haunt me. Well, no, it doesn't. The only consequence of this choice appears to be which of the Lutesses leaves the scene in a huff. It is literally never mentioned again throughout the rest of the game. Later on in the very final scene in the rowboat, Elizabeth's brooch will briefly change to the one that you didn't pick, but it's so brief and hard to see, and it has switched back by the time you make it up the stairs, so there's every chance that this is just a mistake rather than a mind-shattering Easter egg. Come on, Bioshock Infinite, if Elizabeth's necklace was going to have no effect on the game whatsoever, at least allow us to pick something cool like a Flavor Flav clock.
I love it.
Surprising.
Hey, did you see that? Dad said it'd just be us this weekend.
Early on in Teen Murder Survival Simulator Until Dawn, you play as unmurdered teen Beth Washington. You're hanging out in a classic cabin in the woods with your blackout drunk brother Josh, your naive twin sister Hannah, and a few of your closest, dearest friends.
Oh my god, she's taking her shirt off. What? Oh my god! Matt, what are you doing here?
They seem nice.
Hannah! What's going on? Where's my sister going?
So when Hannah runs off into the freezing night without so much as a bobble hat, you make like a good sister and charge off after her into the spooky forest.
Damn it, Hannah. Where are you?
Here you're faced with lots of minor but ominous decisions, but you won't be deterred from your Hannah hunt. Not by random fires, not by deers, not by horrible premonitions of death. It's fine. It's probably fine. Just ignore it, I would.
Hannah! Oh my god, you must be freezing.
But when you find Hannah at last, it turns out you're being stalked by Predator, who then backs the two of you right off a cliff edge.
What? No!
And here's your monumental make or break life or death decision. You have to decide whether to let go of the branch or just drop Hannah like a hot rock while your freaky stalker reaches down to grab you. Hey, maybe he's just a helpful passerby with loads of upper body strength who just wants to pull you to safety. You won't find out here though, because whichever option you choose, you both end up plummeting to your doom. You take the quickest route down Backbreak Mountain, and you and your sis wind up at the bottom of a crevasse, staring lifelessly down the lens as the prologue comes to an end. This is when you remember that in the beginning of a slasher film, the menaced teens always end up dead anyway.
I told you you can't change what happened last year.
Yeah, no kidding, Peter Stormare.
Being President of the United States is a high-pressure job full of world-changing decisions, which is why it's so unlikely that they'd give the job to someone who decided to look like this.
This is a problem.
It's not a problem.
You alienated part of America.
I alienated crazy people.
I mean, you'd have to seriously question their judgment, right? Still, president we are, and decisions we have to make. This we learn upon entering the White House and being greeted by our vice president, who is, for some reason, They Live star Keith David.
Listen, we've got enough clout right now for one major bill, not both. What do you want me to push forward? Do you want to be the president who cured cancer or the president who solved world hunger?
That's a pretty major decision to spring on me in a corridor, Keith David. Also, if you wanted an impartial decision, you should have waited until after I'd had breakfast.
Speaking of hunger, you fancy a steak and kidney pie?
Good choice.
At least this was followed up by a much easier decision. Punch someone in the face or in the dick.
Allow me to retort!
No-brainer, right? Sadly for the world, both momentous decisions are rendered meaningless 30 seconds later when the Zin alien empire invades the Earth. Still, at least that guy got punched in the dick, and if you can make a difference to just one person, it's the reason I got into politics in the first place.
We eliminate the general, we cut the head off the crowd war machine. We don't, they're gonna have us for breakfast.
You all right there, kid?
Sir, my eyes are watering, and I think I'm gonna be sick.
Wolfenstein: The New Order starts with a daring air raid against the fortress of General Wilhelm Death's Head Strasser, a man who is evil even by Nazi standards. It doesn't go well.
Oh, that's him, isn't it? That's Death's Head!
What the hell?
So that's how you end up shirtless for some reason, with Death's Head asking you which of your comrades, Wyatt or Fergus, he should use for his experiments. This means horribly mutilate if you're not keeping up with Death's Head's whole deal.
I like the eyes on this one.
Don't you fucking touch him!
Whichever comrade you pick will be gone for good, while the one you don't pick will be by your side for the rest of the game. So this is going to be a pretty big deal. In fact, maybe I won't make a decision at all, Death's Head. How about that? Ugh, okay, fine. I guess Fergus.
It's okay, Bosco. It's a war. People die. My time's up, is up.
Far from these two different timelines having a major effect on the game though, all it changes is whether you can hotwire electronics or pick locks, whether you receive a health or armor boost, and which one of a couple of pointless NPCs show up at your safe house later in the game. In terms of the story, the biggest difference it makes is what accent the robot you fight near the end of the game has. Definitely made the right choice. Scottish robots sound brilliant.
Thanks for watching this video about meaningless decisions in video games. I can tell you a decision you're about to make that isn't meaningless, and that's which of these two videos to click on. Now the one over here, that has been decided by YouTube's algorithm to be the one most suited to you, and down here is a playlist of videos like this one, but not this one. So make your decision, it will be great whichever one you choose.
So it was meaningless?
Yes, basically.